Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. Oh man, I'm so excited for this event, I'm not gonna lie, because the speaker we have today is a very, very interesting, great and inspirational man. He's a certified TEDx public speaking coach, a global keynote speaker, and an entrepreneur, and he's helping change the lives of many from becoming ordinary speakers to extraordinary speakers. It's honestly amazing, and I'm so glad that we get a glimpse of his greatness today. Also, just being from the university, me being a student myself, it's also very inspirational to see someone that has walked these same hallways that I'm walking in, sat on those very same chairs that you're sitting in today, and has now become something so successful. Someone that was even taught by Rex, for those of you that know Rex, is just so inspirational. So it shows that the business school is really producing great talents. A couple of housekeeping rules though. Please can we all make sure that our phones are on silent, please? It's very annoying when we're all trying to focus on a great speech and then someone's phone rings. Please can we also mitigate the amount of movement throughout the speech, and can we just be respectful? We're not expecting any fire alarms, so in the case of a fire alarm going off, please maybe follow our members of staff to the nearest exit. But before I carry on yapping, let's get on to the best part of today. Please may you help me in welcoming to the stage, Frederick Afrifa.
Thank you very much for that awesome introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Good vibes. So guys, I'm going to be with you guys for a while. I am a UH alumni. I studied here, and since then it's been a bit of a crazy journey. If you guys know, or you may not know, I'm currently on a TV show called The Apprentice, and I'm going to tell you about how I got there. I'm going to tell you about my journey, all the tricks and tips, and I'm going to give you the advice that I wish I heard a few years ago. Whether you're a student, whether you're staff, whether you are an alumni, you're going to leave this place with all of the tricks and tips that I used to get to exactly where I am today. The name of the talk is How to Be a Go-Getter, because I believe that being a go-getter defines no matter what your current circumstances are, you can get to your dream life. 9 years ago when I walked through these halls for the first time, I had no idea of where life would take me, but fortunately I've been able to do some pretty cool things. It all starts with understanding that we have a choice. And things in life will happen to us. And when things happen to us, we can either complain because it happened, or think about what we will do about it. And you learn from this talk that things were not handed to me. I had to go and get them. And throughout life, I had a choice. And we all have choices that we can make. Before you understand where I am now, you need to understand where it started. So, as you can see from the clues on the board, I grew up in Italy. I was born in Milan, and I had an awesome childhood. I'm a firstborn, so I'm the older brother, and if you're an older sibling, you know what it's like. Extra pressure, responsibility, you have to make your parents proud, and you have to show a good example for your younger siblings. When you're younger, one of the only ways you can do that is school. At school, I wasn't one of the super academic kids. I also wasn't one of the super naughty kids. I was somewhere in the middle. The ones that the teachers would sometimes forget about. Now, my time at school was interesting. Growing up in Milan in Italy, I was the only black kid in my whole school, the only black kid in my whole area. And the only times I saw people that looked like me were at home, mum and dad, and on TV when I would always see this guy, 50 Cent. Interestingly, this guy's the reason why I do what I do now. Because I believe that representation is so important. It's so important for you to see someone that you can kind of relate to, that you can aspire to be just like that person. And when I grew up, I wanted to be just like 50 Cent. So I went to school. Sometimes I was a bit naughty, sometimes I was good, but there was one day in school that I hated the most. Anytime parents' evening would come, it felt like the teachers had a script and they would say the exact same thing. And they would say, "Mum, look, your son, he could do really well. He has a lot of potential. But around his friends, sometimes he can get easily distracted. And I remember there was one parents' evening in particular that Mum actually left in tears, and she thought, why is my son not making any progress? And I realized at that point that I needed to do better, not just for me, but for her as well. There was one day in school that I really enjoyed though, and that was sports day. And I had to dig really deep through the archives to find one of my old sports day videos. I'm wearing the red vest and white shorts. As you can see, sports days were a good day. The great thing about sports days is that that was the first time that I started to get confident. That I realized, maybe I am good at something. I truly believe that we all are good at something. Your job is to find out what that is. This was really good for me because now in my town in Milan, people weren't just recognizing me as the African kid. They were saying, oh, that's that fast kid. He's so fast. And that started to boost my confidence even more. That's until this one day. It was a summer holiday. I went to the park and I saw a group of kids play football. And I was excited. I thought, okay, I'm going to play with them. I counted the numbers. They had odd numbers so I can even out the teams. And when I approached them, I said, guys, can I play football with you? They shook their head. And I thought, is it because I'm a little bit younger than you? No one said anything. So then I approached the goalkeeper. He just looks like the oldest one there. I said, hey, I'm the fast kid. Can I play with you? And what he said broke my heart. He said, we just don't play football with people like you. And even though I was just 9 years old, I knew exactly what he meant. I went home upset, and my mum told me words that stuck with me for a really long time. She said, Frederick, when things get tough, you've got two choices. You can either give up because it's difficult, or you can keep moving forwards. You can keep trying. Which one are you going to do? I pondered on that for a while, and shortly after my dad lost his job in Milan, as a family we thought it was time for a change. My mum wanted to move to London, my dad wanted to move to Amsterdam. They would argue about this all the time. Eventually, my dad taught me my first life lesson. He said, happy wife? Which is why my mum won the argument and we moved to London. Now, it's important to understand, when you live in Italy and you've never been to London, this is all you know of London. London Bridge, Buckingham Palace. That's where I thought I was going. So I landed at Stansted Airport, got on the coach to Victoria, so excited. I was looking around and I said, so Dad, where's our house? And Dad said, we're not home just yet. Okay, where's home? He said, we have to get on the tube for a few stops and we'll get home. So we got on the tube, and once we got off the tube station, I said, Dad, are we still in London? He said, of course. Dad, where are we? He said, son, welcome to Brixton. This is not my idea of London. Now, the first thing to understand is I spoke little to no English. And not only did I have to learn English, people in South London spoke slang. So this is a type of English that isn't in the dictionary. How am I going to learn these words? And I'd go into school and I'd pronounce words incorrectly and people would laugh. So I just thought, maybe I should just keep quiet. But this was the least of my problems. Because the truth is that I wasn't ready for Brixton life. Within the first 2 weeks, someone approached me with a knife and said, give me your phone. I gave them my phone. Traumatized by this, what I needed was to associate myself with people that would stop this from happening again. So I started to make some friends that I thought might protect me in case anyone ever tried to threaten me. But little did I know that they had their own troubles. All of a sudden, I'm in a world that I don't belong in. I'm a good kid, but all of a sudden, my environment started to shape me. And I was spending more time away from home. And I was getting into trouble. And some of my friends are getting arrested. And I thought, I truly don't belong here, but now I'm scared of leaving this group of people. What do I do? Mine and my family's world changed when my mum was pregnant for my baby sister. So when we first moved to London, for context, guys, we're a family of 4. Mum, Dad, Michelle, who's 6 years younger than me, and myself. We lived in a 3-bedroom flat in Brixton. But we lived in one of those 3 bedrooms. That's all we could afford at the time. The other 2 bedrooms were taken up by other families. So we are sharing bathroom, we are sharing kitchen. And then when Mum became pregnant for my baby sister, we thought, maybe it's time that we get our own place. When my mum went into labor, things got really complicated. The doctors said that either my mum or the baby might not survive. Now, this was devastating news. Fortunately, they both did. But baby sister Alberta ended up growing up with a few disabilities, which meant that mum had to look after her on a full-time basis. What that meant is that my dad had to work overtime because my mum can't work. And now we've got our own place. We need to get more money. So if my mum's looking after my baby sister on a full-time basis and my dad is working overtime, Michelle, who was 6 years younger than me, is now my responsibility. I'm making breakfast for us, taking her to school, then I'm going to school, picking her up from school, then I'm going home. No one at school would have ever known that I was going through this situation at home. And I remember sitting in the classroom one day thinking, things are so tough right now. I don't know what to do. I remember those words my mum told me ages ago. When things get tough, what are you going to do? You've got 2 choices. You can either give up because it's difficult, or you can keep moving forwards. Just keep trying. At this point, I have no idea what direction my life is going in, but I think it's time that I make a choice. I think it's time that I start choosing my path. And this is the one thing that started to change my life. This is what I want all of you guys to do. I started to discover who I truly was. The truth is, when I was in Milan, I was trying to be like those Italian kids, but I wasn't one of them. I was an African kid born in Italy. And when I was in Brixton, I was trying to be like the Brixton kids, but the truth is I wasn't one of them. I was a good kid just pretending to be bad. And I realized the things that I wore, the music I listened to, I just did it because everyone else did it. I started asking myself, what do you want? What do you like? What are you good at? What are your strengths? What are you not so good at? And in that moment, I stopped comparing myself to other people and I started comparing me to me. I started looking at the progress that I made, and then everything changed. Because I realized there was a talent there all along. All I had to do was think about it. What are one of the things that I'm good at? Running. All right. So can I actually make something of myself in running? I don't know. But I tried. So I started athletics and I got off to a really good start. I went to my local running track and I ran for Lambeth at the London Youth Games. I ran in the relay and we did really well. Because I did well at London Youth Games, I got the opportunity to represent London at the English schools. So one level up, and I had just started athletics, okay? So this is me at 15 years old. I wanted to run the last leg because I knew that this guy would get all the camera time. And I needed camera time. So I thought to myself, if cameras are gonna be on him, if I run to him, cameras will be on me. So I try and get to my friend as soon as possible. And I didn't realize there was a camera right next to me. So I remember whispering, bro, where's the camera? He said, behind you. Oh yeah, number 1. So this is me at 15 years old. I've just started athletics. The vest was too big for me. The chain was my dad's. And I forgot that relay is about carefully handing over the baton, so I ran straight into him, but luckily it was all safe. And I remember coming back into school after this just feeling like a superstar. All of a sudden, I found something that I was good at, but I was brave enough to try. I was brave enough to write down what are the things you're good at. I don't know if I'll make it, but at least I'm going to try. So then I come back, and 1 year later I'm in college. I get the opportunity to go to America for the first time. America. I remember after this race sitting under a palm tree thinking, if I never wrote a list of the things that I was good at, I'd still be in Brixton right now. And now I'm in Florida. This is crazy. While I was out there, I got to train with a man called Tyson Gay, who's the second fastest human being ever behind Usain Bolt. Tyson Gay told me, you're 16 right now. I saw your race, I think you're gonna make it pro. Imagine hearing that from one of the fastest men ever. So I came back to the UK and I thought, Mom, Dad, I'm going pro. And my dad said, pro what? I said, I'm going to be a pro runner. My dad wasn't convinced. So I came back, I tried to study, but my focus was all on athletics. When I was finished college, my dad said, so what university are you going to go to? I'm from Ghana, okay? So my dad said, which uni are you going to? I said, Dad, I'm not going to uni. I'm going to focus on athletics. He wasn't convinced, but he gave me 1 year. I took a gap year, but I didn't sign pro. I said, Dad, give me 1 more year, please. I took a second gap year, and I didn't sign pro. At this point, I've been doing running for a good few years. Everyone I started with has either signed a professional contract or has given up. At this point, my dad said, son, I've given you 2 years, what are you going to do? I said, Dad, I'm going to go to uni. So I found myself at the University of Hertfordshire. I'm studying accounting and French, and at the same time, I'm training full-time because I want to make it. Now, it was hard enough just training. Now I'm training and studying. Now I've got lectures. Now Rex is emailing me saying, where were you? Oh. I remember the final exam in my first year. It was a core module, which means if I don't pass this module, I can't go to second year. And the exam was on a Friday. I also had my national championships in Italy on that same Friday. I went to my national champs, so I had to redo first year all over again. Now, that didn't pay off because I still haven't signed professional. Guys, at this point, I'm done first year of uni twice. Second year, I'm in my third year of uni. I've been doing athletics for 7 years. I haven't signed a professional contract. My friends and family think I'm crazy. But I know within me, there's a voice that tells me you can do it. There's a burning sensation, and I know I can do it. On my final year of university, it happened. After 7 years, I signed my first professional contract. Now this was incredible because once I graduated, I didn't have to be an accountant and I could be a professional runner. This is us at the European Championships with my team. I got to run the 4th leg and I remember feeling so much pressure to try and get over the line first, and fortunately I did. The great thing about being an athlete is that you get to stay in shape. So when I got an email from ITV saying, we are looking for some sporty contestants for a TV show, I thought I was going on Love Island. And they said, no, it's not Love Island, it's Ninja Warrior. Do you want to do it? And I thought, okay, how bad can it be? So I hopped off the plane, went straight to Manchester, and gave it a go.
This is Frederick Afrifa. He's a student, he's 22 from Croydon. He was born in Milan, Cammy, and that actually represents Italy as a sprinter.
Well, he should be fast out the blocks, Ben, but can he go the distance on that course?
Yeah, will he be fast, Freddie? Will that sprinter be more of a splasher?
Freddie.
He looks very confident, doesn't he, like you would expect from a sprinter? Just step that first one, no problem. Good long legs.
Isn't it, Ben?
No problems here, Cammy. Keep the weight forward. Just touch the rope, use it if you want to, nice.
I forgot to tell you, I lied to ITV. One of the things you need to be able to do to get on a show like this is you need to be able to swim. So they said, you can swim, right? And I was like, yeah. But I can't actually swim.
Another one of our taller competitors.
Oh, no. Gotta get that
At this point, guys, I knew I wasn't going to make it. But I don't know how deep the water is. And I told them I could swim. So I don't know what to do. And I just can't let go because I can't swim. But I can't swing either. I've got one more swing in me. Luckily, the water wasn't too deep. But I learned my lesson, don't lie. Okay, don't lie. So I remember after the show thinking, okay, I made a fool of myself on TV, but life was good. And that 7 years, those 7 years of struggle, of pain, of people not believing in me, they all paid off. Now, there was one thing that was missing. I'm a pro, I've been to Europeans, but I have not been to the Olympics. And how it works is, to get to the Olympics, you go to your national championship. You go for heat semi-finals and finals. At the end, you are left with 6 of the fastest runners in the country. If you come in the top 3, you get to represent your country at the Olympics. So here I am in my national championship final, running the 400 meters indoors. So we're doing 2 laps of the track. I'm in the white vest in this lane. Now, my coach told me, Frederick, do not burn your energy on the first lap. I didn't listen. My only thought was, I've worked too hard to let this opportunity slip. But after the first lap, I was out of breath. Now I remember thinking, okay, you know what, second place is okay. I'm still gonna make the team. And I felt the gentleman in the red vest starting to run past me. Or trying to run past me. At this point, I kept telling myself, when things get hard, you don't give up, you keep moving forwards. When things get hard, you don't give up, you just keep moving forwards. And I thought, just keep moving forwards and see what happens. Oof. And you see what happened. All of a sudden, I was national champion. The year before the Olympics. I couldn't believe it. This opened up a whole new world of opportunities. And I had American universities saying to me, hey, come to our university, we'll give you a scholarship. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't even have to attend your classes. You just have to run fast. Of course I'm gonna go. So as soon as I got the news, I posted it on social media, and I remember this post. That was my goodbye post. I'm off to the States, and thank you so much, UK, see you later. I sold my car, I said my goodbyes, and I was ready for this new adventure in the States. Now, there were 3 main lessons I was taking with me to America. The first one is to be self-motivated. No matter what happens in America, you have to believe in yourself, even if people don't believe in you. Lesson number 2, keep moving forward. Even when things get difficult, do not give up. Lesson number 3, it's okay to be different. Don't try and fit in. Be yourself. And as 2020 came about, and I was ready to go to America, all of a sudden the Olympics are postponed to 2021. American universities are pulling out of the deal. They're telling me, look, we haven't got as much money right now. 4 days out, I mean, I've got my ticket, I've packed my bags, 4 days out, the final offer got rejected. And I remember thinking, my dreams of competing in the NCAA, they're gone. Now at this point, I'm still a professional athlete, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna be in the UK, I'm still gonna make the Olympics, but then I get some more bad news. My sponsor drops me. So in a matter of months, I've gone from, I'm going to America, to I'm no longer a professional athlete. The main problem with this is I'm supporting my family with my income from athletics. And I no longer have this income. So what am I going to do? I went to my local Sainsbury's, I said, do you have any jobs? And I got a job as a delivery driver at my local Sainsbury's. Now, there is nothing wrong with being a delivery driver, but a couple months before this, I'm going to America. People in my area know me as a superstar. They saw me on TV. They thought I'm going to the Olympics. Now, I'm turning up at their house with the shopping. And they're asking me, like, what's happened? And I'm having to explain myself over and over again. There was an infamous shift when it was snowing. And when it's snowing, it's hard enough to walk, let alone drive one of these. And I was scared in the van, and I thought to myself, I need to write down a list of things that I'm good at and a list of things that I'm not so good at. I was struggling to find things I was good at. So I thought, what is one thing that I can improve that can totally change my life? And when I did a bit of research, that one skill was my ability to speak. Until this point, I was a very shy and introverted person. Until today, I would not say that I'm extroverted, but I've worked on my ability to speak. So what I did is I Googled, can you make money from speaking? And Google said yes. I can start a podcast, I can be a radio host, or I can be a speaker. So I went down each rabbit hole. And I started to get advice, not from my friends and family, but advice from people that had already done the thing that I wanted to do. And that changed everything. Think about it. If you have plans and goals, and your friend hasn't done it, they don't know how to get there. Find someone that has already done the thing that you want to do and ask them. And someone gave me the blueprint. They said, go to primary schools around your area. Tell them you were an athlete and offer to speak for free. So I did that. He said, once you've done that, reach out to secondary schools. Show them all the testimonials, all the teachers saying you were great. And then you can start charging for your services. Now, the first time I got paid to do a talk, this is how it went.
The most difficult subject for me was history. When I was in history degree, I wasn't a massive fan of history. I really liked it. But I wanted to push myself and encourage you to challenge yourself and study something that you wouldn't have studied. But
it wasn't very good. Okay? And I remember leaving this place thinking, maybe I'm not so good at this. And one of my mentors told me something that totally changed my mindset. He said, look, you've got two choices, but I'm telling you, if you keep going, you'll keep growing. And I thought, okay, that rhymes. And he said, no, trust me. Things are difficult right now, but if you keep going, you keep growing. So I kept going, and I kept growing. I kept going, and I kept growing. And eventually, I wasn't just speaking, I was teaching people how to speak. And then one day I had a crazy idea. I said, I'm going to apply to go on The Apprentice. 3 months of auditions. Got to the final stage. And the BBC said no. The BBC said no. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm currently on The Apprentice. I'm on season 19 of The Apprentice. I first applied to be on season 18 of The Apprentice. So when I got rejected by the BBC at the final stage, I literally sent them an email saying, I wish you just said no at the beginning. They got my hopes up and it came crashing down. But then I remember what my mentor told me, if I keep going, I keep growing. So I just keep getting better. I start to get recognition. And when I get recognition, I start working with big speaking agencies. Through these big speaking agencies, now I'm speaking at conferences. And then eventually we get featured on Forbes, which helps us attract big companies like Sky. Now, when I first moved to this country, we couldn't afford Sky. Like I said, we were living in one bedroom. All of a sudden, I'm going into Sky, and I'm helping their teams get better at public speaking. Crazy. And then I got flown out to Las Vegas to speak at a conference. And I remember being on stage, 4,000 people in Las Vegas thinking, what is going on? The month after, I was at the presidential villa in Nigeria. This all happened within 12 months. So I try again. I go back through the process. I apply to be on season 19 of The Apprentice, because if you keep going, you keep growing. And we will know what happened after that. I'm currently on season 19 of The Apprentice. This is the framework that I now teach. This is the framework. I've looked back on my journey and I thought, what is the reason why I was able to achieve my goals and my friends were not? And these are the 3 C's that transformed my life. The first C is creativity. If you want to live a life that's extraordinary, it's in the name, extraordinary. You can't think like everyone else. You have to think outside the box. What are the skills that you can use to progress in your career? Number 2, I had to be courageous. I had to be brave. You saw how much rejection I have had. When I first started to post on social media, I thought it was strange, I thought it was cringe, but I had to push through that. And I had to be consistent. Because if you do the first two for a little while, you won't get anywhere. And that's often what happens with people. They'll start something, they'll get really excited, and then it doesn't go to plan, and then they think, maybe this isn't for me. I'm going to show you, I'm going to zoom back to 2021 and show you how my life changed from 2021. I'm in a delivery van, working at Sainsbury's. I'm doing 7-hour shifts, and I'm getting £9 an hour. They didn't pay my lunch. So, I'm making £54 a day driving this delivery van. What did my life look like in that moment? Everyone I knew was doing the exact same thing. Watching Love Island. Scrolling on social media. And we'd often go out and have a good time. Things changed when during a 6-hour shift, I stumbled across a YouTube video on personal development. And the gentleman said, you need to work as hard on yourself as you do on your job. What does that mean? You need to work on your skill sets. What can you improve? You currently have a skill, or if you don't, you can develop a skill that people will pay for. Really? The skill of public speaking is the one I decided to work on. And this is in 2021, okay? In 2022, the only difference is that I worked on a skill. I wasn't even good at anything. I was just thought, let me just get good at something. And the thing I decided to get good at was public speaking. At this point, I'm speaking in schools. And I'm doing 2 schools a day, almost every day, Monday to Friday. And all of a sudden, my income jumped because I worked on a skill. I worked on getting better. Now, things got even crazier when I went to an event. PSA, the Professional Speaking Association, had put on an event. It was £150 to go to this event. I thought, £150? I'm not going. My mentor said, you must go. At this event, there was a guest speaker called Roger Harrop. After the event, everyone's taking pictures with Roger and shaking his hand. I've never heard of this guy. So on my way home, I'm like, who's Roger Harrop? So then I Googled him, as you do. And I thought, maybe I should have done my research before I came. But it's all good. So I'm scrolling through Google, and I'm thinking, who's Roger? All right, cool. He's released a few books. Why is everyone taking pictures with him? And I see a few links, and I'm thinking, so what's so special about this man? And when I stumbled on his speaking profile, I said, oh, he's a big deal. The former CEO of Forbes. Now, I thought I was the man getting £150 to speak at a primary school. This dude, he's making $10,000 to $20,000 for an hour of speaking. So what I do in this moment is I try and take all the advice that Roger gave us in that meeting. His advice worked. I actually was able to get some speaking engagements on the back of it. I try and reach this dude every way I can. LinkedIn, Instagram, emails. He's ignoring me. I keep getting better. I keep emailing him. I keep getting better, and I keep emailing him. After 3 months of emailing him every 2 weeks, he got back to me. Finally. And he said, Frederick, you're doing well. Let's go for a coffee. After 2 weeks of having coffee with Roger, this website is called AAE. After 2 weeks of meeting Roger, I had a website profile on AAE. This could not have happened without Roger. All of a sudden, I've gone from charging £150 from primary school to going to conferences, and my fee is very, very different. The only thing that changed in that moment is I expanded my network. I asked advice from someone that had already done the things that I want to do. And it totally changed the trajectory of my career. I cannot bang on about it enough. Once you find your lane, find someone that has already done the things that you want to do. It will change your life. The 3 C's framework is a very simple framework. Remember to always stay creative. Think outside the box. Remember to be courageous. Rejection is part of the process. But most importantly, remember to stay consistent. Because if you try for a little while, nothing will change. So a lot of people ask me, how has your life changed? Especially since being on The Apprentice. And other than getting free suits from Mark Darcy, quick plug, my life has pretty much stayed the same. Because when you do the thing that you're called to do, when you do something that you love, more exposure, more money, it doesn't change you as a person. It just amplifies what you do. So if till this far I've helped 10,000 people, my aim is to help 1 million people. And that's exactly what I want to do. I truly believe that seeing is believing, which is why no matter how successful I will get, I will always do these. I'll always come back to schools, universities, colleges, and I'll speak about my experiences. So you can see someone. Tonight at 9 p.m. I'll be on BBC One. But today at 4:30 I was here in front of you. All the people you look up to and you see on television, they are normal people who took risks. And I truly believe that seeing is believing. So hopefully my journey can inspire you to achieve all of the great things that you want to do. Now, one of my favorite things from speaking is that I need to show the next person that I was here, because seeing is believing, right? So I need some evidence. So I always do a video towards the end of my talk where I get the crowd involved, okay? Really simple. It's gonna be a selfie video. I'm gonna say believe in, and you're gonna say greatness, because my company is called Believe in Greatness. Now, sometimes these videos go viral, but only if the energy from the crowd is at least an 8 out of 10, okay? So we're gonna do a practice round before we do the real thing, so you can warm up your throat. All right, so, believe in? No. UH, come on. Let's do this properly, okay? Believe in? That's a lot better, okay. Now, we're gonna pretend this is the first go, okay? So I'm at UH right now with some beautiful people, and I'm sure that they believe in? Greatness! Believe in? Greatness! Guys, give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you so much! Amazing. My one big ask, guys, is that this advice isn't something that goes through one ear, comes out the other. I dare you to try some of the things I told you today. Some things may seem far-fetched. I remember driving in the delivery van, listening to this kind of stuff, thinking, but I tried it, and it changed my life. And it changes the life of those that take action. So please, one of the things that resonated with you today, try it. Give it a go. Because what's the worst that can happen? Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you at the top. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Fred. I told you guys, that he was great. At this point, we're going to open it up to the floor. So any one of you that has any questions that you want to ask Fred, this is your chance to do so. At the end of the session, he's not going to be available. He's going to be doing interviews because he's an important man. So please, this is your chance. If you have any questions, Evans is there with the mic. Please may you ask them now.
Evans? Okay.
Hello? Where do you see yourself and your company in around 10 years?
It's a great question, and these questions are always really strange because 2016, when I was here, and someone asked me that question, I wouldn't have said that I am where I am now. But to answer your question, in 10 years' time, I see myself and my company just impacting more people, helping more people gain confidence with their public speaking, and just doing exactly what I'm doing right now on a bigger scale. That's the plan for now, but we'll see what life throws at me. Thank you for the question.
Right. I really learned a lot today. Thank you so much. My question is this. You said you ask Google that are you going to make money from public speaking? What if Google has said no? You actually have an alternative to that.
Sorry, what's the question?
My question is this. You said at the point of talking to us that when you're about to switch from the driving to public speaking,
Yeah.
you went to Google
Yes.
to ask, can you actually make money
Yeah.
from this?
Yeah.
And Google said yes. So my question is, what if Google has said no?
Okay, what if Google said
No.
no to
You
me?
have an alternative to that.
That's a great question. So I asked Google, can I make money from public speaking? If Google said no, truthfully, when I was driving that Sainsbury's van, I would have asked Google another question. Okay, because I was just trying to get out of those circumstances. But the truth is, I believe we're in a day and age when you can make money doing most things. You can make money helping people. You can make money reviewing restaurants. You can make money going on holiday and reviewing those resorts. It's about being limitless with your mindset. Anything you enjoy doing now, anything that's a hobby, it can be a career for you. And I strongly, strongly believe that.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
It's quite educative. It's quite inspiring. So I really appreciate what you presented here. Well, personally, I relate with your presentation because I was really shy as a kid. Well, I'm much better now. Yeah, I keep working on myself, so I hope I'll get much better. So, for my question, I want to know, what is your advice for someone who's trying to connect with people that have done what he's aspiring to?
Great question. First of all, well done for putting your hand up to ask a question. As a former shy person, I know that's hard. What would my advice be to people that are looking for people that have done the thing that they want to do? Simply put yourself in rooms where they will be. So, if you want to get into property, today in London, there are probably 10 events where property entrepreneurs meet up and speak. If you want to get into tech, at the weekend, I promise you, there'll be more than 5 events where tech entrepreneurs meet up. If you want to be a lawyer, there will be such events. That's the first thing to do. The second thing that you can do, if you can't get into London, if you can't go to these events, you go on YouTube. I promise you, on YouTube, there is someone that has already done the thing you want to do, who's talking about it on YouTube, who's talking about his journey, who's giving advice. A lot of the things I learned through YouTube. Other successful speakers, other successful entrepreneurs that just give advice. We live in the digital age, the information age. And I don't think that we have a lack of resources. I think we have a lack of resourcefulness. So to answer your question, all the information that you want is already out there. It's up to you to go and get it. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Frederick. My question is, if you have a chance to go to the Olympics now, are you still going to take it? And also, you've talked about your success story. I want to know, in your speaking events, experiences, is there maybe a regret or something you think you should have done better throughout the years you started speaking publicly and up to this moment? Thank you.
Very good. So 2 questions. The first question is, if I could go to the Olympics now, would I go? I wouldn't get in. I haven't been training the last couple of years. So I think that dream is gone and another dream has been born. And the lesson there is that we shouldn't be too scared to pivot. Because at the time, athletics was my whole life. And it was really difficult to stop that. So I probably won't get to the Olympics. The second question, would I change anything from my time as a speaker? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I started in schools. I still sometimes do schools. I'm now at a place where I speak to corporates and I help them get better at public speaking. It's been an up and down journey, so it's definitely been very difficult, but I'm proud of how much effort I've put into it. And I don't believe that I got lucky. I believe that I just worked really hard to get here. So to answer the second question, there's nothing that I would change. Thank you.
Thank you, Frederick. My question is, what is your toughest travel experience and how to manage
What's the toughest crowd I spoke at and how did I manage that? That is a very good question. So I speak in front of tough crowds all the time. As a young black speaker, I'll go to certain events where I'm the only one under 50, I'm the only one who hasn't got grey hair, I'm wearing ripped jeans, and straight away I can tell that there is a lack of anticipation for the things that I'm going to say. Anytime I speak, my job isn't to be liked. My job is to deliver the message as well as possible. So what I do in those settings is I focus less on them judging me and more on me delivering the message as well as possible. So I control the controllables and I speak as well as I can, no matter who is in front of me. And that's something that really helps me. So I don't focus on that fear of judgment, I focus on the message that I'm delivering. Hope that helps.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have one there, we have one at the front as well.
My question is, how do you stay motivated to keep on going for your dream? Is it your dream that helps you stay motivated, or is it another thing that pushed you to keep going?
How do I stay motivated? Great question. The truth is, as the motivational speaker, there are days that I wake up unmotivated. And I think that's perfectly fine. As human beings, we are going to have those days. For me, what I try and do when I'm lacking motivation is I try and remember the reason why I want to do this in the first place. So this morning, for example, I woke up, I was tired. Okay, I've got a super long day. I'm going into London now to watch the episode with some of the other candidates. I didn't wake up buzzing like, hey, I'm going to come and speak. However, I remind myself that I say I'm the person that wants to go in, help people. So it's about being the kind of person that I want to be. It's about having integrity. So on those days that I feel unmotivated, I remind myself of my why, the reason why I do this, and that helps me. Having said that, I still sometimes feel unmotivated, and I want to make a big point of that because it's normal for you to wake up and not really be bothered at times. But again, in that moment, you have a choice. Do you not do it, or do you still try your best in the conditions that you currently have? Thank you, great question.
Any more questions?
So when you changed careers, you said that you had to always keep going to grow, but then how hard was it for you to change into a different career? Because obviously you wanted to keep going as an athlete, so what did you tell yourself in order to change?
Great question. How hard did I find changing careers? Very difficult. So I learned that there's a difference between giving up on yourself and giving up what you're currently doing. And I learned that just because I'm giving up the athletics doesn't mean I'm giving up on myself. It just means that I'm going to shift that focus into something else. Understanding when to stop something is one of the greatest things that you can do. Because we've all seen people that have gone a little too long in the thing that they should have pivoted. So for me, it was about learning that giving up on this doesn't mean I'm giving up on myself. It just means I'm giving myself another opportunity. And that's a big lesson that I've learned that I want to teach you guys as well. If you give up on what you're currently doing, it doesn't mean you're giving up on yourself. It just means you're giving yourself another chance. But it was very hard. Thank you very much. Last question.
Thank you very much for everything you said. Growing up, I was an athlete, and for me, it's like I want to do like a lot of things, football, music, or whatever. But in terms of how do you know which one to like put all your effort into, and in a way, like as you said, you've been doing it for many years, but this pivoted you into another thing. Like, is it better to focus on your passion, or is it better to learn a new skill and then see where that goes?
Is it better to learn a new is it better to work on your passion or learn a new skill and see where that goes? I think one of the mistakes that I made is at some point I tried to do too much. Now if you think about a jug, if you're trying to pour that jug into many different cups, none of the cups will be full, which means you'll be mediocre at everything. Rather, you want to pour all of that jug into one cup until it overflows and be the best at that thing. Whatever that thing is totally up to you. But if you're in a position where there are many things that you can potentially do, sports, music, education, I would say try them out, but eventually know that to truly be great, you have to focus on one. Also, life is seasonal. So just because you're focused on studies now, doesn't mean that you can't focus on music later. But I think by doing that, you can give your all to each, rather than giving half to both of them. So that's, I believe, what works for me. Focus on one thing, overflow that cup, be the best, then you can move to the next thing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys once again, and thank you, Fred, for this amazing talk. At this point, we're going to close it down. Thank you to everyone that attended. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the team that made this possible. At this point, Frederick will be entertaining some interviews. If you got an email about Elevate, please may you follow Evans to the Enterprise Hub. Please may you exit using my far left and get some pizzas on your way out. Anyways, thank you guys so much. See you next time.
Thank you for coming, guys. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. How'd you find it? Good?
It was fun, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, the speech never goes, at least for me, it
Yes.
never goes like...
Exactly. Exactly.
There's always something like
My name is Abraham.
Nice to meet you, Abraham. How are you?
Are you taking speakers? Are you having interns? Do you want to take
Yeah, potentially.
I asked that by one person.
Got it. Reach out to me. Are you on LinkedIn? Instagram?
I mean, I took your hand in your already, so...
Fantastic. Reach out to me and then we'll have a conversation. Yeah, always happy to help. Thank you so much, man. Did you enjoy the talk?
Can we take pictures though?
Yeah, let's take a picture. Yeah. I'll come down.
Proud of this moment, man.
Let's do it.